Hi, my name is Yasu from Japan, and then in my video I do hitorigoto, which means talking to myself. So let me share my depression experience. And I made a horrible mistake in terms of the dealing with my depressions and then doing the treatment for my depressions. So what happened is basically when I took the medications, especially after a month, I felt so much better. I felt normal again. So I didn't think much, but basically I kind of went back to my routine, which is on the weekends, go out with my friends. And then I really made a mistake because what happened is that I went out and then my condition got deteriorated, and then I couldn't move, I couldn't walk, so I was kind of like the resting on the bench, kind of took a nap, but still didn't feel good, so I just went back to home. And for the next 2 or 3 days I went through difficult time because I didn't get better right away. And I was feeling like okay, I thought that I got better, but now I felt so down, struggling with these conditions and so much pain in my head. I didn't feel good, and I feel like my condition got back to the beginning of the treatment, or even like 2 months ago or 3 months ago, that I was feeling I was in a very bad place, and I got so scared that I wouldn't get better. I will never get better. But I put myself together. I will explain how and why. So I'm okay now. But the lesson that I learned is that once you engage in the treatment, you will get better. Or at least I got better. But I am still in the process of getting the treatment. And I should have stick with it. Basically, like I shouldn't become so much active, not as much as I used to be, because I am getting better. However, I am not as well as I used to be because I'm doing the treatment. I'm battling my depressions. So that's my lesson. So what happened is that because I felt so much better energy, I wanted to go out. So I went out with my friends and I went to Toyosu fish market in Tokyo because I never been there. It's really clean, well built. I really recommend you to go there if you're visiting. And then I went to a sushi restaurant show for lunch. Fantastic omakase sushi that they serve. So I recommend you to go there. Their sushi is really good. But because it's so packed, the Japanese tourists, foreign tourists, people are speaking so much, talks, noise, too many people, and I don't think my brain was ready to handle that much visual and sound informations. And also I think mentally and also brain wise, I don't think I was ready to be surrounded by that many people. So by the time we got into the sushi restaurant, I couldn't really process the informations. The sushi was really tasty though. So like the when my friends ask me questions, like talk to me, my brain really didn't couldn't process what they're saying. And then I didn't want to look at my friends' faces, or especially eyes or other people, because it gave me so much information that I couldn't process. And I felt dizzy, my body felt so tired, but it didn't really catch up with me, even though I already felt that something really is really wrong with my brain. like head, like I couldn't process anything. And then on that day after the lunch, we made a plans to go to I think the facility called Small World in Ariake. Basically, the facility and they display the small version of so many different countries, the airports, and then they create the sections for Sailor Moon, that anime thing, and also Evangelion sections. And then I really wanted to go there because it's so interesting, and I love Evangelion. But when I got there, too many people, too packed, especially the family. And normally, I don't really care, but with my conditions, especially at the time, physically, mentally, I was not capable of handling any informations that I would receive by looking at them or looking at the exhibitions or any like noises and sound, because it's just way too much information. And by the time I got to the section for Sailor Moon, I couldn't move. So I told my friends that I got so tired. I took some, rest. So I sat on the couch, which is in the sections, and then I was like, what is going on with me? I couldn't think and I couldn't feel anything anymore. And my body felt so heavy. And then I really wanted to sleep. And I think I took a nap, but I didn't get better. So eventually I told my friends that I'm just going to go home. And which I did. But it didn't end. So all I did was just laying on the bed and then sleeping, do nothing, and I couldn't do anything because my brain was so slow. It's like the brain fog thing, and then my body felt so heavy, and I felt so tired, and I felt so bad and scared because, like I said, I felt like I was really back in a bad shape before I started to getting the treatment, and I was thinking that I didn't I get better? Or it's just gonna get worse. And will I ever be able to who I'm used to be? So much uncertainty, it just makes me feel so much negativity, which is really not healthy. But luckily, ever since I decided to go to a psychiatrist and everything, I actually write the diaries about my conditions and everything. So I was like looking at those diaries, and it makes me feel that, okay, look at what I wrote a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago. And what I'm feeling right now is so much better than what I went through before. So I am getting better, but it just takes time. So it gave me a hope, it gave me a certain baseline, the stability, but still the damage that I got from that event, it took me 3 or 4 days to get what I to get better basically. It was that long because even though I got better, but my brain is still recovering. Basically, how I see the depression is the brain function is getting error. Basically, it doesn't just function as it should be, and all my brain needs just rest, less stimulus. That's how I see these conditions. So I felt better. I went out. I got exposed to way too much stimulus to the point that my brain couldn't process, so it got stopped, and it affected my entire body. So if I explain what happened to me, what was happening to me in Ariake, Toyosu Market area, was basically what happens to the major in Ghost in the Shell. That's one of the major, popular, and my favorite comic and then anime. I love Ghost in the Shell. And then oftentimes there is a scene that the major got hacked, and it affects her functionality to the point that even when Major was trying to process the informations, all she was seeing was like error, 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 and then eventually she couldn't move her body and everything. That's exactly what happened to me at Toyosu and the Ariake area. So first, I felt something was my brain isn't really functioning well, and then eventually the whole body kind of shut down. So the lesson that I learned is that I need to really stick with my treatment plan because I am battling my depressions and I'm really trying to get better. And one of the scary thing is that unlike, let's say, if I break bones, even though I don't see the bones, but can I know that I cannot use my hand, and then there's so much pain, and but basically like the physical damage I can see, but when it comes to brain and everything I cannot see. So I need to be very careful with how I feel, and then keep reminding myself that it takes time to get better. So don't push myself. Don't try to go back to my usual routine before I got depressions, because most likely I'm not ready. But give myself a time and healed, then I will get back to what I'm used to be able to do. Otherwise, like, how do I say it? Even though I feel better, but I don't think my condition, my brain condition, is as well as it used to be before the depressions. But because I'm in my head, and even though I feel better, but there's no way for me to compare the good conditions that I feel. Is this as much as it used to be before the depressions, or it's less than that because I'm still in the recovery phase? It's hard to say. So basically I just need to simply stick with my treatment plan, finish everything, and then I get better so that eventually I can get back to my normal routine. So that's the lesson that I learned. And then I also find and feel that this is one of the trap that maybe people fall into, and then this kind of prevents people from getting better from the depressions, because one time people feel better and then the other time they feel worse, and when they try to go back to their normal life before they finish the treatment, and then they realize that they cannot do as much as they want to or they used to be. Sorry. And then they feel like ashamed, they feel powerless, and they feel like there's no future, and they have doubts and scared that will I ever get better? I'm confident that I'm gonna get better, and I am confident that you will get better as well. You just, or we just need to stick with our treatment plan, and then be kind to ourselves, and then once we get really better, we can do whatever we want to do. So please, don't make a mistakes, and if you make a mistake like I did, just give yourself a time. You will get better eventually. So I just want to share my mistakes. But regardless, it's just simply better if you don't get sick, or if you don't get depressions. And then not getting the depressions, first of all, treat yourself better, be kind to yourself, and don't feel so much stressed. And if you're stressed out, you might want to think, the situation that you're in, is it worth risking your health? Because without good health, no good life. So please take care of yourself and then stay healthy. And so for now, じゃあね、バイバイ。